On. How we doing today? Gonna be honest with you, I'm kind of tired. Um, yeah, it's a long day today. Gonna be honest with you there, but we're here, all right, we're here, and that's all that matters. All right, at the end of the day, all right, that's that's what I try to tell myself anyway. When it comes to a bunch of things, including like working out and stuff like that, is like, a little bit is better than nothing. A lot is better than a little, but a little is better than nothing. That's what I try to tell myself when I'm having a bad day in terms of like just how I'm feeling, and I don't want to go to the gym or something like that. I couldn't make it to the gym today because I had some stuff going. I have some stuff going on this week that kind of made it hard for me to make it on Monday and today. You know, um, so I'm just that's why I'm here on a random Wednesday. That's why I was there on a random Monday. What's going on, Ro Jogan, Ronald Non, X Ridiculous X Sheer JC612. How you doing today? How's everybody doing today? Um, One moment. I'm just gonna make sure of something real quick. Okay, good. I got it. I got it. I got it. It's here. Oh man. So we're just chilling right now. I don't have a real like here's the thing about the streaming thing, right? I actually like streaming a lot. I do enjoy streaming. And if it was something that I could do more often, I definitely would. I would love to do something like a couple times a week or even like every day if I could. I'll be honest with you. It's nice to sit down and just go over random shit, just talk about random shit and find random shit and other stuff like that. But I do not have the time to be able to do that, unfortunately. Um, and because of that, I don't sit here and think like, oh, hey, what kind of stream could I do today? Like I've seen the way Josie does her streams. I've seen the way um, Betty has done her streams before and stuff like that. Sylvia, et cetera, et cetera. Like these guys, they tend to have themes and stuff like that. They tend to have I wouldn't say goals necessarily, but they just have things that they're doing. But for me, it feels better to just kind of get on here and just kind of see where the wind takes me because um, it's not unless it's something very special. But other than that, I'm just kind of doing my thing because I know like I'm probably not going to get to do this tomorrow. I know I'm not going to be able to do it next week or anything like that, or the week after, or whenever. I'm gonna have to wait until I happen to have another free Wednesday to do this on a Wednesday. One thing I am thinking about though is I'm potentially going to do Fridays, but that's kind of iffy. If I'm just being honest with you, I might not. We'll see. Ronald Non smells like fish blood. Why do you smell like fish blood? What does fish blood even smell like? Is it just like salty blood basically? Because blood has iron in it, so because of that, it kind of tastes like iron. And I would it, that you. I don't know. I guess iron kind of has a smell to it. It's iron. Does it just taste like salty iron or smell like salty iron? I don't know. But because of that, I don't have anything specific planned today. I will potentially play some Call of Duty. I'm just gonna see where the wind blows. All right. I did post on Twitter if you want me to speak on anything to post it in the thread or DM me or anything like that. Since we're already in the middle of the stream right now, if anybody has anything they want to talk about, feel free to post it there. But I did get somebody asking me a very good question that honestly kind of deserves its own video, but I'm gonna try my best to talk through it here. Um, and that is, I'll just go ahead and I'll read his thing. Juba on Twitter says, I'm scared of confrontation. Every time some sort of confrontation happens, it feels like I tighten up and I can't speak. How to fix this? Um, well, one way would be to just improve your speaking ability in general, right? Now, I'm not saying like you are bad at it in general or anything like that, but if you know how to use your words, if you know how to talk about things, talk through things, and talk things out and stuff like that, then you're going to be a lot better off in general, but also when there's some kind of confrontation and things like that. Because a lot of confrontation is not necessarily something where you have to be the winner or you have to try and best the other person in some way, shape, or form, right? It's not that you have to defend yourself necessarily. It's more that you have to learn how to either avoid a confrontation or de-escalate a confrontation when it's already started to happen. So don't necessarily think of it as you having to be confrontational or anything like that. Think of it more as... I want to be very careful how I say this, but think of it more as somebody else being uh, unreasonable and you're trying to talk them back down to reason. Now, the reason I say I want to be careful about how I'm saying that is because I don't want you to think that I don't want you to start looking at people and thinking, this guy's being a dickhead. It's okay. I'm smart enough and I'm cool enough and I'm nice enough and I'm good enough with my words where I'm going to totally finesse this guy into not being a dickhead anymore, right? I don't want you to think of it like that because it's not really a good way to think of it. Think of it more as a method of trying to solve a problem, right? This is what happens when I talk to a bunch of people and I end up getting into some kind of situation, right? I don't sit there and say you all the time, right? I don't sit there, I don't sit there only thinking about me and stuff like that. I think about what the problem is, how we arrived at that problem, and how we can try to get around the problem, right? Around how we can squish the problem, how we can, just get rid of the problem, right? However we got to do it. And that honestly, it can be tough because when you're sitting here and you're looking at things not as a confrontation, but more of just an impasse that needs to be gotten around, a problem that needs to be solved, and somebody else is not looking at it that way, you're going to be sitting there and you're going to be taking responsibility for yourself and you're going to be doing and saying things in good faith, and they're going to be refusing to take responsibility for themselves, and they're not going to be saying and doing things in good faith. Everything they're going to say and do is going to be in bad faith, right? But this is just a manner of kind of trying to think differently about confrontation. Okay, now I understand that sometimes you really do just gotta step up and be like, "Hey, back the fuck off," right? I get that. It's very rare though, right? I'll be honest with you. It's very rare that you actually have to do that. Okay, because me, like, I'm not very good with confrontation either. You may think I am, right? Because I'm from Massachusetts and I talk funny, a little bit funny, and I'm kind of like out there, right? When it comes to the way that I talk about confrontation, and I'm an MMA fighter, right? I do this fighting thing as a hobby as well as a profession, right? Even if I'm not fighting currently, I'm training other people to do so, right? But you may think that I'm good with confrontation. Really, I'm not. I hate confrontation. I'm not a fan of it. But one thing that I know is that the feelings that I feel during confrontation, it's not that I'm actually necessarily even scared. It's that my body is just priming itself for some kind of physical conflict. Okay? And when I start shaking, because I do shake a little bit, right? When I feel that in my stomach, right? Instead of thinking to myself, oh man, I'm so scared, I don't want this to turn into a fight. I honestly just think to myself, okay, I'm ready to fight. Like, I'm ready to fight. And I have to be very careful about what I do and what I say and things like that. That would be a big mistake if somebody was to be in some kind of weird, like, I don't know, some situation that I wouldn't be in the first place, right? Some kind of like traffic argument or something like that, and they saw me shaking, right? That would be a mistake on their part to assume that I'm scared, because I'm really not. That's just me thinking, okay, like, when am I gonna have to hit this guy? Like, am I gonna hit this guy now? No, he's not close enough. He's not aggressive enough. Okay, let's keep talking. But I'm ready to hit this guy. I'm ready to start fighting this guy, right? That's really what it is if I start shaking visibly and anything like that, right? But at the end of the day, you need to start rethinking the feelings that you end up getting and the actions that you end up doing, I guess, right? Because your body is not suicidal. Your body is not doing things in order to hinder you in any way, shape, or form. The shaking thing is just your body's way of saying, hey, like we're ready to go. We're ready to go, right? The pit in your stomach thing, again, is your body's way of being like, okay, we're ready to go. We're ready to go, right? The nerves that you feel before a fight is just your body's way of kind of like becoming hyper focused on the moment and things like that, if that makes sense. Now, he specifically mentioned, right, that every time some sort of confrontation happens, I feel I tighten up and cannot speak. For one thing, it's really just going to kind of take a little bit of practice. And I'm not telling you to go starting fights with people at all, right? But it's hard to tell you to start slow or small or anything like that. But I will say that if you notice a situation where you would normally you see, and this is why I was saying that I think it deserves its own video, but I still am trying to see if I can answer this, in a good manner. Now, I'm gonna tell you a story because I think it actually kind of sort of illustrates what I'm talking about. So, I was going to move into an apartment about a year ago, right? And we ended up moving into that apartment about a year ago, right? And it was a real pain in the ass trying to move into that apartment because we would call them, right? And they would put us through to kind of the next phase, right? And that phase included having to send bank statements and or pay stubs and things like that to prove that you actually have a job and that you make as much money as you say you do. We ended up sending our pay stubs, right? And the dude wouldn't get back to us for like a month or two. And we're sitting here and we're like, well, we probably just didn't get it, but we'll go ahead and we'll call. We'll exhaust all options. So we call this guy and he's like, oh, yeah. We can't find your pay stubs. Could you send in more? So they lost our pay stubs. So we're like, all right, fine, whatever. We do it again. Another month or two goes by. No call. We call him again. Oh, yeah. The pay stubs are out of date now. Could you send us more? Like, it happened like 3 or 4 times. Finally, the 3rd or 4th time, he ends up putting us through to the next phase, right? And we end up going like a month or so later, right? We end up going in, we sit down, and guess what? He wants more pay stubs and stuff from us because, again, like they either lost them or they just didn't really like they didn't move forward with our application in time. So the pay stubs ended up going out of the date range that they were willing to accept them. This guy sat there and he looked us in the face and he was like, yeah, we've been giving you grace this whole time, because we need 4 pay stubs that are no more than a month or so old. So we've kind of been giving you grace, basically trying to act like he was just being like a nice guy and not throwing our shit out, not throwing our application in the trash because he kept losing our shit, because they kept losing our shit. He was acting like he was doing us a favor and like it was really our fault, and he was just being a nice guy. Now, that pissed me off right away, I'm going to be honest with you, but it's not like I hopped the desk or anything like that, right? I just sat there and I was like, actually, it's not that you were giving us grace, it's that we kept having to give you new pay stubs because you weren't moving forward with our application. Some stuff was happening on your end as to where the pay stubs just weren't valid anymore, right? And he fucked off after that. Now, I'm not telling you this is some kind of like, yeah, I did it, right? That's not what this is. I'm saying that was confrontation. That was confrontational. It didn't go down much different from how I just described it, right? I wasn't an asshole about it. He wasn't even really an asshole about it. It's just, what he was doing was kind of, just being honest, kind of an asshole move, if I'm just being honest with you. He wasn't like, yeah, we've been being good to you. He literally was just like, yeah, we've been giving you grace because, like, that's basically the tone he used it in, right? It's not how he was saying it. It was literally what he was saying this time. Usually it's the other way around. But I'm telling you this because it's an example of confrontation. Not all confrontation has to be some big situation where you're like, huh, Yeah, why don't you fuck off, right? Start with those. Get good at being able to just assert yourself in a polite but firm way. Okay. Once you're able to do that, it's going to be a little bit easier to do more, I guess you could say, right? So overall, I guess to recap, you would want to work on linguistics. Blah, blah, blah. I need to work on linguistics. Holy shit! You want to work on linguistics, all right? How you talk. You want to find more and better ways to communicate. You want to start looking at confrontation a little bit differently. Okay, think of it less as a fight or an argument or anything like that, and think of it more as you and somebody else trying to get through a problem, and you're just going to lay the facts down so that you can get through the problem, right? And then start small. All right, I understand, and frankly, most confrontation is simply not worth it. Like, you should never get out of your car to scream at somebody because of some kind of traffic thing, right? You should never if you're leaving the grocery store and some guy starts talking shit on your way out, you should probably just go to your car, get in, and drive away and hit him, on the way out of the parking lot. Kidding. I'm kidding about that. But confrontation is something you should really not deal with most of the time. But I do understand that sometimes you need to be able to show your fangs, as Chris Chan said. And because of this, if you want to get good at being able to handle confrontation, you want to start small. If you believe that's going to end up helping you. It's kind of difficult to say exactly what I think you need, because at the end of the day, you didn't give me that much information about you. You said that you kind of choke up and stuff like that. It sounds like really you probably think too much about confrontation and probably communication in general. And because of that, for one thing, you think too much about that. But then in addition to that, you probably haven't really learned to cope with the feelings that you get when you end up in a confrontational situation or anything like that. When you end up in confrontation. One thing to remember, I will say before we move on, at the end of the day, your mind doesn't control your body, right? Like if I sat there and I was thinking in my head, don't walk, don't walk, don't walk, don't walk. I could literally think to myself, don't walk, do not take steps, and do that at the same time, right? My mind and my body, though they are connected, are not necessarily in a master-slave situation, right? Neither of them really 100% control the other, though they do affect the other. Okay. And if you allow your body to tell your mind what to do, or if you allow your mind to tell your body what to do, then you're always going to end up in the same situation every time. And it's typically never going to be a situation that you want, I deal with this myself, right? There's certain things that I don't like to have to do, but I know that when it comes down to it, if I just put one foot in front of the other, I'm all good, right? It's like fighting, right? I honestly would rather get into 100 street fights that just erupt randomly. I'm walking down the street, minding my own business, and some guy just decides he wants to play the knockout game with me, right? And I end up seeing him before he ends up landing the punch, and I slip it, and then the fight begins, right? Because there's no time to think about it; it's just time to act, right? I would literally prefer something like that to getting into an MMA fight, if I'm just being honest with you. I do love MMA, but the reason I say this is because the 2 months leading up to the fight, regardless of what kind of fight it is, but the 2 months leading up to the fight, I'm sitting there, I'm laying in bed, awake, like, shit, dude. Like, I don't even have beef with this guy. We just decided we're gonna fight for no reason. Fuck, dude, shit. That's what's going on inside my head, right? But you know what I do every day? I get up and I train. And when I'm backstage, right, before the fight, they changed it at the old promotion that I had all of my MMA fights at. The promotion that I had my MMA fights. And I'm saying MMA specifically because I've had kickboxing. I've even had a boxing match or two, right? But the one that I've had all my mixed martial arts contests at, right? They changed it. They have like curtains up, and there's like a thing that you walk through, right, when you're going out to the cage and stuff like that. So you can no longer see the cage until it's your time to actually get out there, right? Before they did that, there was a stage, right? Because it was at a playhouse type of deal. It was a coliseum set up, and there was a stage. They used to have us on the stage, right? And you would be watching the fight before yours. You'd just be like, you'd just be like that because you ain't got nothing better to do, right? And you're just sitting here and you're watching these two dudes that are just beating the hell out of each other, right? And you're just like, fuck, that's about to be me, bro. Shit, right? And the nerves get to you, right? And plus, like every fight that I've ever had for that promotion, I walked out first, right? If I walked out second, I wouldn't have had that, right? I would have been back. I would have been further backstage, and I would have been able to hear things and stuff like that, but I wouldn't have actually been watching stuff, right? I basically would have been in a tunnel. But since I was going first, I was on the stage, just sort of like, oh wow, that's crazy. That's gonna be me, right? There were times where I would sit there and I'm like, dude, bro, geez, dude. You know what? Dude, I just realized I forgot my wallet at home, bro. Like, dude, I kind of gotta get that, dude. Like, I mean, you can't leave home without your wallet, kid. Like, fuck, dude. Shit, man. Like, those are the kinds of thoughts that would go through my head. It's just like, holy shit, like, what am I doing? Like, why am I here? You know? Why am I about to do this? I don't have beef with this guy. What's wrong with me? I gotta get out of here. Can I fall off the stage? You know? Can I trip and fall off the stage and like, can something like that happen? And I don't have to fight anymore? But the thing is, I don't allow that to occur. Right? I don't allow myself to have a way out. I just sit there and I just have the thoughts, and the thoughts are trapped in my head, and I'm not going to allow them to seep out my ears or, through the eye sockets or through the mouth or nose or whatever, right? I'm just, whew, that's all. That's all you see, right? In my head, I'm like, holy fucking shit, bro. But before the fight, I'm just like, that's it. And when it's time for me to walk out, right? Either A, the thoughts stop as soon as I start to walk out, or B, when I climb the steps and I end up getting into the ring or the cage, that's when the thoughts stop. But regardless, I don't let the thoughts stop me from just putting one foot in front of the other. And at the end of the day, that's just how you got to get through it, I don't like confrontation either, right? I'm not a confrontational kind of person. I want to be buds with everybody. It irks me and it confuses me why people can't just all be friends, right? It doesn't mean that we're gonna be fucking commies and like I gotta give you like a bunch of shit. I don't gotta let you borrow money. I don't gotta let you use my car. I don't gotta have you over my house every day and shit like that. But why can't we just be cool with each other, right? I'm not a confrontational guy. Right? I said it last time. Like, when I meet someone and they're cool to me, I'm like, I immediately add them to the group of people that I'm like, okay, if I ever win $1 billion, this guy's getting a cool million slipped in his pocket when he's not looking, right? Like, that's just kind of how I am. And it irks me and it bothers me how unfriendly a lot of people are. And at the end of the day, it's because people are flawed. And I'm not saying I'm not flawed. I am most certainly flawed. Like, believe me, I could list off all the issues I got, right? But, like, people are flawed in ways that are really screwed up, right? And because of that, like, they're selfish, they're egoistic. People believe that, you're just supposed to do things for them and stuff like that. People think that you just kind of exist to make their life better, right? There's a lack of respect that people have for each other, right? And that's why we can't all be friends at the end of the day, right? But it irks me that people have to be like that because I try my best to be as absolutely positively respectful and charitable to other people and stuff like that. And it makes me lose out a lot of the time. I'll be honest with you, There's times where I've let people go first and they're the ones who the scratch ticket that they buy is the one that ended up being the winner. I was sitting there looking at a scratch ticket and I'm like, ah, man, you know what? I think I'm gonna get that one. But you can go first, sir. And then that person just happens to pick the same ticket that I was gonna pick, and then they're the one who wins $1 billion, right? That type of stuff happens with me a lot, right? And I'm not like mad about it. It just kind of is what it is, right? But in addition to that, I also have situations where I make friends with people. I end up allowing somebody into my life in one capacity or another. And it ends up becoming a one-way relationship, a one-way friendship. They don't hit me up to chill. I'm the one hitting them up. They're not throwing down their fair share. They're not pulling their weight, et cetera, right? It sucks, right? And again, that's why we can't all be friends, and I've gotten better at kind of identifying people who are not worth my time and that will use me in that way, and just fucking like just being hands off with them, just like trying to avoid them and things like that. But it's still frustrating. It's still really frustrating. But anyway, Monsieur Big, Warzone, zombies. I don't know. I'm not really a big Warzone or a big zombies guy, but maybe I'll try Warzone. And I'll go ahead and I'll start that up now. What's going on, JC Pliskin? How many times have you pulled the old wallet excuse? 0 times, actually. But a funny thing, right? There was a smoker, which a smoker is an exhibition event. There was a smoker that I went to once in preparation for another fight, which is crazy because I basically had a fight to prepare for a fight. It was a boxing match that I ended up having against this dude who was a straight up boxer, and me, I'm practicing Muay Thai, so that went about as good as you could expect. But like right before the fight, I realized that I forgot my mouthpiece. I had my bag with me. I had my gloves, my shoes, right? Trunks, some headgear, if I remember correctly. I didn't end up bringing my mouth guard. So what else could I do but go get my mouth guard? The thing is, there was nobody. I forget if it was that there was nobody at my house who could have brought me my mouth guard, or if they just didn't know where my mouth guard was. I forget which one of those it was. Actually, now that I think of it, I was living on my own at the time. So there was nobody who could have gotten into my place to get my mouth guard. It was literally just me. Now, luckily, I didn't live too far away from the gym. In fact, technically, I basically lived down the street from that gym, but like 5 to 10 miles away, right? That's it's kind of funny, right? Where I used to live. It was on this like main road that spanned through like a bunch of different towns and shit like that. So even though I was like 2 or 3 towns away, I was literally basically right down the street. So I get in my car, I fly, right? I'm like, oh shit, time to go. I ended up having trouble with the car as well. I thought the car was going to break down at one point. I forget exactly what it was, but I end up going, I get to my place, I grab my mouth guard, I come back, and I end up getting there just in time. I think we were like one of the last matches to go that day. And my coach ends up telling me, like, right after the match, like, dude, where did you end up going? I was like, oh, I went to grab my mouth guard. I told you. And you were like, no, I said you, geez. Yeah, I told him I went to get my mouth guard, but I don't know, maybe he forgot. He was like, where'd you go? And I was like, I went to grab my mouth guard. I told you I forgot it, And he's like, oh, really? Like, I thought you meant in your car or something. We thought you got in your car and left because you were scared, Not that funny of a story, but it's kind of related to the whole wallet excuse, right? They thought I was using my mouth guard as an excuse. What's going on, Midgrave? Thank you. You must be looking in a mirror saying that. But yeah, so that's my one. People thought I was. Oh, actually, there is another one. But I'm not 100% sure how much I want to talk about this one. There was another one where people thought that I was just being afraid, but I really wasn't. So there was a fight in 2015 that I was supposed to have. No, it was 2016. Excuse me. I was supposed to fight in 2016. It was a guy who I know that I was gonna beat. He wasn't a bad boxer, but I knew at the time I was probably a little bit, or if not, maybe even a lot of bit more advanced than he was in terms of the boxing. And in addition to that, he was training out of a boxing gym mainly. He had a little bit of grappling experience. He did, right? But not the experience that I had by that point. And like I said, he was training out of a boxing gym. He wasn't exactly getting in a ton of grappling, at least to my knowledge, right? So I kind of knew, like, all right, I got this guy, right? So I wasn't going into it like scared at all, right? And like you know, me and this guy actually talk about it a little bit every now and again. You know, we check in on each other every few years and stuff like that. He really is a good dude. But basically, again, not talking about it too much because it's not something that I feel is good for me to speak about in this moment right now where I'm in my life. There was some issues that on the other side of them, it looked like I was not going to end up having the fight anymore, right? So something ended up coming up, and because of that, I thought that the fight was off, right? I just thought it was not going to happen. And because of the fact that the fight was going to be off, and at least I thought, combined with the fact that I was pretty upset about the thing that ended up coming up, I ended up throwing a punch at a brick wall. Now, normally I wouldn't do something like that. I'm not saying I've never done it before. I definitely have. I mean, like you can see, right, this knuckle, right? Compare it to this one, right? You see the difference, right? That's because I've punched a few walls in my life, and that's what happened, and that's why I try not to punch walls anymore, right? But basically, I punched a brick wall because it was literally the day of the weigh-ins that this ended up happening, right? So I am dehydrated, I am starving because I'm trying to cut weight because when you weigh in, you typically don't just weigh in all like the day of the weigh-ins, you don't wake up at the weight that you're supposed to be at, right? Typically, you're going to cut weight. And the way you're going to do that is you're not going to eat, you're not going to drink, and you're going to sweat out any water that you have had in your system, right? So I'm dehydrated, I'm starving. Even though, like I said, I wasn't afraid, I'm still stressed out because, again, I'm dehydrated and I'm starving, and I know that I'm going to have to fight somebody that I don't actually have any beef with, right? And then this issue comes up that I think just is like, oh, all right, fight's over now. I end up punching that wall. The wall won. All right, the wall won. I ended up fucking up my hand. It was not good, right? It was discolored. It was soft, right? I would assume from swelling. I would assume. I don't know if my knuckle flattened out again, right? But there was literally a point where this knuckle was like basically just flat, right? Like the little bump you see here. That's after the bone repaired itself a little bit, right? And that's why it's a little bit wider, is because when a bone repairs itself, it's like, hey, we can't have this happen again. You know, double wide now. But I punched this wall. Okay, the wall wins. My hand's all fucked up, and I want to say a half hour, 45 minutes later, I get a call from the promoter. He's like, Scott, like, we need this fight to happen, dude. Right? I ended up telling the promoter, right? And he ends up calling me, and he says, Scott, dude, like, we need this fight to happen, man. Like, we've had a bunch of pullouts as is, and because of that, like, we are literally at the point where if we don't have you on this card, you and the guy that you were fighting, we do not have a card. The state will not allow us to move forward with this event. Because I guess there's like a minimum amount of fights that you have to have on the card, or else the state won't like sanction it or something like that. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is with that. But so I'm sitting here, I'm looking at my fist, and I'm like, I mean, hey, if you need me that bad, then okay, right? I ended up warning him that I'm probably not going to end up making weight, right? Because at that point, I started eating and drinking again, you know, because like if I thought the fight was going to be off, I literally just told him it was going to be off, and I didn't expect him to call me up and say, no, it's on, we need you, right? So I warned him that I was not going to end up making weight, and that's that. I end up going to the weigh-ins, I weigh in, and then the next day comes, and I end up showing up to the place. Now, before fights, right, before you end up fighting, you end up going through a medical evaluation, right? They take your blood pressure, they take your heart rate, they do a couple other medical tests and stuff like that to make sure that you're actually physically fit to fight. And one of the things they do is they say, hey, like, put your hands out, right? They check your hands to make sure there's no cuts, abrasions of any kind, any bruising, any damage to them, right? Because a hand break, like, when your hand breaks, it may never heal properly, right? You may have a fucked up hand for the rest of your life. So, like, even though it's just your hand, it's not just your hand, right? It's actually, like, extremely important that your hand does not get fucked up too bad. I actually ended up trying to hide the thing, right? I had a wart on my hand at that point, right? And I sat there and, he's like, all right, put out your hands. I put out my hands and I'm like, oh yeah, I just want to bring that to your attention. That's okay, right? He's like, yeah, that's fine, but what about this? And he points to the knuckle and he takes my hand and he starts pressing on it. And at first I was convincing him like, hey, like, nah, like it's cool. Like I'm good. I'm all right. I'm good. There's going to be a glove on there and wraps. Like I'm good. And he almost let me fight. He was like, so if you do fight, you're probably going to stick to like grappling, right? You're probably going to try and take him down, right? And I was like, yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. But then another doctor came over. There were two doctors there that day. And he takes a look at it and he starts pressing on it. He starts fucking pressing on it. And naturally I'm like, I kind of wince a little bit, right? And when he saw me wince, he was like, yeah, no, you're not going to fight, The promoter was pretty pissed at me, which, like, hey, I tried to tell him that the fight wasn't going to happen, right? I tried to let him know, hey, like, that fight's off, right? Now, I didn't tell him about my fist, obviously, right? But I told him, hey, the fight's off. And he was like, dude, we need you. So because he was like, we need you, I was like, well, I guess I'm going to try and fight with a fucked up hand then, right? I guess that's what's going to happen. But yeah, he was pretty pissed at me. But that kind of is what it is. That was a crazy card, bro, because even though my fight was off, they let it go ahead anyway. And then there was some controversy where somebody got kneed illegally and his friends tried to rush the cage to beat the hell out of the guy who did the illegal knee, right? So that was a crazy card. But after that, right? Now here's the thing. Oh yes, everybody, please like the stream. I would really appreciate that. So I said that this is a story about a time where people thought that I was afraid and I didn't want to fight and I was looking for a way out of the fight, right? Where this comes in is I ended up going to the guy that I was supposed to fight personally, right? And I was like, look, man, like, the doctor's not going to let me fight, dude. I'm sorry. Like, I'm really sorry about that. I didn't want this to happen. At that point, I had prided myself on never pulling out of a fight that I had, right? That was just sort of, I don't know why. I was just like, yeah, I don't pull out of fights, right? But now I have to pull out of the fight because the doctor will not let me fight. So it's not even that I pulled out. It's that the doctor just said, nah, right? I go to this guy and he's like, yo, dude, like, hey, like, are you sure you can't? Because I'm willing to pay you $500 if you fight me. He literally offered to pay me to fight him. And I was like, dude, like, I don't need the money to fight. It's that the doctor won't let me. And he was like, bro. So we ended up dapping up and we walked off, right? And, I thought it was all good between us. But eventually he started talking smack on Facebook, saying that I was afraid to fight and that I punched a wall on purpose, which at the time I had told him and, anybody else who asked that a box had fallen on my fist. I didn't want to tell them exactly everything that went down, right? Because I didn't want to tell them, hey, like, there was some issues that came up and then I punched a wall. I didn't want to say that, right? I did punch a wall. It wasn't to get out of the fight. It was because I thought the fight was done, and also the nature of the issue that arose made me extremely, extremely angry, right? But I ended up inboxing him. I explained to him what the issue was, and he immediately was like, oh. And he ended up deleting the post, and he actually made another post saying, like, hey, like, nah, I was wrong about that. He wasn't afraid, But yeah. I feel like that was a tough story to get through. It's like I said, I'm kind of tired right now. It was a long day. I apologize if I'm a little bleh right now. But we will play a little bit of Call of Duty before we end up getting out of here. It hasn't even been an hour yet. I'm not I'm not trying to like, you know, dip out right this second. I'm just saying. Okay. Thought before we start though, thoughts dictate feeling, feelings don't dictate thought. Classic Charles line. That is a good line. I don't watch that much Charles, but whenever I do watch Charles, there's always some really good shit. Please do a step-by-step breakdown on how to ask out Sylvia like one of your training videos. I won't do that because I don't want anyone asking out Sylvia except for me. Anyway, whoop, uh-oh. I think I screwed up the double click. We're gonna go ahead. We're gonna play some not World of War, dude. That's how fucked up I am right now. That I'm sitting here like we're gonna play Modern Warfare 2, except I ended up saying World at War. For some reason, it's taken forever to actually load up. Oh yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna. There we go. Close that bad, Larry. And then. Oh. Sorry about that. I'm just trying to set everything up. Oh wait. Video capture device. All right, here we go. Oh, dude. It requires a restart. What the hell, bro? Dude, that's one of the things I hate about Call of Duty as of late. I'm going to be honest with you. Not as of late, but for the last however many years, is that there's a new update every other day, and it's like a 4 gig update, right? It's like a fucking 10 gig update, and it's just for some fucking stupid shit, right? It's always for some stupid fucking shit, bro. It's like we added new skins, and it's like, really, you needed that much time? You needed to have another fucking update. You needed to have another patch that takes hours to fucking upload and shit like that. That's what you needed. And now I got to restart. It's more of an issue on like the PS4 or 5 or fucking 69 or however many PlayStations there are now. I stopped paying attention to console gaming when I became a computer, a PC Ubermensch. All right. But like it was just so frustrating, dude, especially because I'm someone who's strapped for time. So when I sit down for an hour to play video games, if I'm lucky to have an hour to play video games, and I would turn on my PS4 to play like Black Ops, whatever the most recent Black Ops game was. I think it was the reboot. When I would turn that shit on, and there would be an update where it's like, all right, we're downloading the update. They fucking have to download the update. Oh, Sheer JC is a $10 simp. I am going to read your thing though. I will. I swear. I'm just finishing this point. But like, that's the crazy thing about that though. That's the crazy thing about the console shit is that there's an update, the patch, right? The patch gets sent to your shit. You have to download the patch. Okay, the patch downloads automatically. All right. Then the patch has to install. Then the finalization has to fucking kick in. There's always some weird shit that ends up happening after the fact. And you're waiting for all of it. You're waiting through all of it. You're just like, just watching it. And it takes 45 minutes to an hour. So I sit down to play some video games, all right? And I'm like, you know what? I want to play Call of Duty because I don't feel like playing Fallout 4. I don't feel like playing anything else. In fact, if I have to play Fallout 4, I'd rather just not play. That's how much I don't feel like playing Fallout 4 or any other game that I happen to have, right? I don't feel like playing games if I have to play Fallout 4. So I'm gonna play some Call of Duty because that's what I feel like playing. Oh, I have an hour to play Call of Duty and now I have to sit here through a 45-minute fucking upload or download or installation or whatever, bro. It's just crazy. Anyway, Sheer JC 612. Here's a 10. I'm sorry. I won't ask out Sylvia. Please don't hurt me. Don't worry. I won't. All right. Keep them coming though. All right. That $10 is it's tribute. All right. You're the Byzantine Empire and I'm the Huns. All right. Tomorrow, next time I stream, I expect that 10 again. All right. If not, I'm gonna sack Byzantium, however the fuck they call it. I hear some people say Byzantium. I hear some people say Byzantium. Yeah, I don't know. Or like the Byzantine Empire or the Byzantine 16 Empire. It's like coupons and coupons. I don't know, bro. But anyway, jokes aside, thank you very much, Sheer. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for that. Hardcore shipment. All right, fuck it. We'll do hardcore shipment. We'll get ourselves into a clusterfuck. You did, comma lives. I'm what's it called? Ah, shit. Were they the Huns? Ah, man. Or what was it? The Visigoths or something? Ah, fuck. I forget who sacked Rome. Yeah, I have Sonichu because I was doing I have Sonichu as my background because I'm doing a special project. Oh, oh, and you know what else? Oh, shoot. You get to see him again because I forgot to do something. All right, there we go. Dude, my shit is so fucked up. Like, I had some extra time, so I got to record so many fucking videos, right? And I get to work on so many videos now, right? And like, just it was a mad dash to try my best to do as many videos as I could. So I didn't have the time or the energy to like, you know, I didn't have the time or the energy to there we go. Oh damn, I got confused as to which one I wanted to go for. I was saying I didn't have the time or the energy to really oh fuck, damn bro, I didn't have the time or the energy to organize the shit, right? There we go. First kill of the day, baby. I didn't have the time or the energy. Because I didn't have the time or the energy to organize anything, it's all just like sprawled out over my home screen. It's pretty ridiculous. And a lot of it is stuff that I'm just gonna end up getting rid of. Where'd he go? Oh, hey there. Fuck you. Punk ass. Oh, damn. I thought I got him. Oh, damn. I thought I got that one. It's hardcore, so I gotta get used to not having the reticle. Damn. Well, got a reticle there, huh? Yeah. Oh, boy. Uh-oh. Alright, I got it. I hope I got it. Hey, this was good. Oh, shit. Damn. I don't play hardcore mode at all, so, like, not having the shit is, like, fuck. I'm basically just doing this so you guys can, like, laugh at my shitty skills or something like that. I don't know. Basically just because I'm, like I said, it's a chill stream. We're just going where the wind takes us. Damn. Oh, the Visigoths were the ones. Does coaching get frustrating? Do you personally get frustrated when someone you want to improve is not succeeding? Who the fuck does this guy think he is? Damn, bro, I suck. Coaching is not frustrating. Coaching is extremely rewarding even when somebody is not doing as good as I would like for them to do. With that said... Uh-oh. Damn. With that said, certain things do get a little bit frustrating. Like, you know, coaching kids. I love coaching kids, but if and when I do own my own gym, I don't know if I can have a little kids class because I know I'm wacky, I'm crazy, whoa, right? On here. I know that I like to mess around a little bit on... Oh, hey there. Damn, bro. Dude, you know what? You can eat shit, you fuckhead. You fucking killed me. Supposed to be my boy. Anyway, it can get frustrating when you have like little kids that don't want to pay attention and stuff like that. I don't get frustrated with them because I understand that they're little kids and that I need to be patient with them, right? Now me, I was a very well-behaved child, all right? I never acted out, and on the rare occasions that I did, I got punished for it, right? Whether it was my parents or whether it was at school or something like that. Damn. And because of that, you know, it is a little bit crazy to me to see how kids were back then as well as how kids are nowadays, where it's like I was a very quiet, well-behaved kid. That, like, there were issues with that, don't get me wrong, right? I'm not saying, like, when I was a kid, like, no, there were issues that ended up occurring later in life. Oh, damn. Because of that. But it is irksome sometimes when you have kids that are just, like, so off the wall. It's like, I had that quite literally beaten out of me when I was a kid, you know, and not in like a way that's like, whoa, 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 right? I'm not like mad at my parents for that or anything like that. Oh, damn. Bro, I am fucking up in the game right now. The frustrating things are when I get people who don't respect me, though. And there are a lot of people that I teach that don't respect me in one way or another. Like, you know, and I'm not going to say specifics and anything like that. And really, nobody that I teach currently, I guess I should say, doesn't have that respect for me. But there were people over the years who, you know, when I would teach a class, they'd start trying to tell me what they think I should teach and shit like that. Either that or like I'd be teaching something and they'd try and tell me like how to teach it, or you know, I'd say, hey, do this, and they'd be like, nah, right? Or maybe like I'm trying to teach something and they're sitting here and they're like, they're trying to big bro other people, right? Like they're trying to sit here, like somebody's sitting here looking at something and they go over to somebody else and they're like, hey, look at that. Look at his leg right there. It's like, yo, I don't need you big broing everybody for me. Fucking, like, I'm showing a move, somebody's going to get it or they're not going to get it. I can be the one to go around saying, hey, watch out for your leg. You need to make sure of this and that, right? And the reason why I don't like that is because it's a distraction, right? And that's kind of what I'm building to, is that I don't like distractions and things like that. I don't like when people talk when I'm talking. I don't like... bro, I suck right now. See, this is why I tend to not play video games when I'm explaining things, because not only do I suck at video games in general, but I suck worse when I'm trying to explain something. And then also I have a hard time explaining it. Basically, if I could sum up what I'm trying to say is that I don't necessarily get frustrated with teaching. I love teaching, but there are moments where I just want to be like, yo, shut the fuck up. And when it's somebody who doesn't know half of what I know, someone who doesn't know a quarter of what I know, someone who doesn't know a tenth of what I know, sitting there trying to tell me like, dude, you should do this. You should do that. What about that, dude? Either that or they're trying to feel like there's some kind of they're trying to feel like there's some kind of like senior student or something like that, because that's a very Eastern thing. Is like you have an instructor, but then you also have senior students who are looked at as kind of like the big bro. Like, that's not something we do in the West, and it's not something we do in jiu-jitsu or Muay Thai. You don't have the fucking senior student who's being like the hype man for the fucking coach. That's not a thing. Everybody shuts the fuck up when the coach is talking. You don't speak under any circumstances, right? If that makes sense. Really, it's when people are doing things that they're not supposed to be doing, right? In which case, like, I have a right to be frustrated. I'll never get frustrated with someone because they're not getting a move. I'll never be frustrated with somebody because they're having a hard time physically or anything like that. I'll never get frustrated because someone is, you know, there's a challenge that they're just not quite hitting. What will make me upset is when someone's doing something that they're not supposed to do. Either that or they're not trying hard. Either that or I feel as though they're disrespecting me. Either that or, and this happens a lot with the kids, right? And I try to make sure that I scold it out of them to the best of my ability. But a kid doesn't get a move, and I sit there and I try and say, hey, like, do it this way. And they're like, ugh. Literally, I have kids in my class sometimes that will be like, ugh, when I tell them, like, oh, no, you see, you just need to make this minor adjustment, right? You just need to make this minor adjustment and you're going to get it. And then I do it. Like, I try to make them do it, but then they pout. And they try to do what I tell them to do, but they do it in a pouty way, which means they're not actually trying to do it for real. They're just going to, like, suck at it when they try it. And they don't get the move. And it just creates this weird cycle. Like, I try to make sure that I sit down and I'm like, hey, like, I need you to take a deep breath for me right now, okay? And not get upset, right? I'll get frustrated in a situation like that, but I won't voice the frustration. I'm not going to be like, geez, kid, dude, what's your problem, bro? I'm not going to be like that, right? But I am going to be like, hey, you need to stop that, all right? Because you're just getting flustered. And because you're flustered, you're not doing it right, basically on purpose. So you need to knock that off. Now, if you need to take a seat for a minute, take a seat for a minute. But whatever you got to do to calm down, you do to calm down. All right? Damn. I don't know if we're winning. I don't know if we're losing. I know I'm sucking, though. Oh, I was treating this like team deathmatch the whole time. The No Child Left Behind policy hurts the good kids. Yes, it does, 110%. And I mean, look, like I'm not a school teacher, you know, so at the end of the day, it's not like I'm hold on one sec. Um anyway, look, like here's the thing. I'm not a school teacher. I'm a martial arts coach, right? In many ways, I have a better effect on these kids than their school teachers do, because their school teachers will have them for a set amount of time during the day, sure, but that's only for 180 days and then they move on. And knowing this, a lot of these school teachers are like scumbag pieces of shit, and they end up doing and saying things that like have lasting effects on these kids in negative ways, right? It's very rarely that you have a teacher who positively affects you or anybody else out there, right? But it's very common that they negatively affect you and everybody else out there, right? It's very common that they negatively affect the kids and stuff like that, right? Me, like, I feel that because I have them for a longer time, and also I'm not just looking out for myself when I do shit, whatever, we'll go with this. You know what? We're gonna noob tube our way through this. But regardless though, right? I do feel that like what I do has a better effect on kids than school teachers. I'll just be honest with you. But like, I kind of have to sit here and treat it like it's a No Child Left Behind situation, you know? I can't just be like, kid, get out of here. Get out of here. You suck. You're never gonna get it. Get out of here, kid. Right? What the hell? Oh, dude, there's lag. Oh, man, there's lag. There's some kind of packet loss or something like that, I would assume. But I don't have the ability to just be like, hey, get out of here, you suck, right? The only time there has ever been somebody kicked out of the gym that I go to, right, meaning a child, is for behavioral issues. And I mean, like, this kid was violent. This kid was destructive to his environment. He would not listen to you when you would tell him, hey, like, knock that off. You would literally sit there and, like, everything about him was just defiant, to the point where, like, I'm not going to say that I, like, was beefing with this kid or anything like that, but I had moments where I was like, all right, like, it's jiu-jitsu day. I'm going to have to see this fucking kid. All right, let's see what bullshit he pulls today, right? I got to be ready for it. And when... got him. You fucking riot shield bitch. Anyway, and when you would try to speak to him, he would just like if you were here looking at him here, he would like just zone out and wait for you to get done, and then he would just go back to whatever he was doing, right? That kid, like, I don't ever like saying that somebody's gonna grow up to be a piece of shit, but like, that kid will end up being a piece of shit when he's older if he does not end up getting off the path that he's on. Because he was the type of kid who like, he would touch the mirror that we would use to shadow box with, and that was a no-no. Like, everybody knew not to do that. He'd touch the mirror, and I'd be like, yo, dude, don't touch the mirror. And he'd be like, right in front of me, right? He'd end up pulling that weird shit. That's weird. The thing muted for a second. What the hell's going on here? Anyway. But, he was that kind of kid, right? That's the only person who ever got kicked out, right? And it was because we literally told him, hey, don't be putting hands on people. And then he went 2 seconds later and put hands on people right in front of us. So, like, my coach, the guy who is running the class, I'm more of an assistant coach than anything, though I do operate as a head coach most of the time. Not most of the time, but much of the time, right? You know, he was like, literally like, kid, won't say his real name. He was like, kid, this was your last class here. You are no longer allowed to be in here. And the fucked up thing is, he actually, is that one of ours? I don't know if that's one of ours or not, but the fucked up thing too is that, this kid, he had a brother in the class, right? Damn. This kid had a brother in the class, right? And he was cool, and he was allowed to stay, right? But his mom, of course, wasn't going to be like, oh, no, you can stay in here, older brother, but younger brother, you're not going to be here. Like, you know, she took them both out, which sucks, because, like, the older brother was, like, actually really fun to have around, and I would have been, like, glad to have him in the class, but... you know, the younger brother was just like, it was a situation where there was no amount of me talking to him that was going to do any good. And because of that, we had to get rid of him. But other than that, there's never been a time where I've seen somebody who, for one thing, has not positively benefited, right? Even if they still have their issues are just less now. Or has not been, like, for lack of better term, fixed by Muay Thai or Jiu-Jitsu or boxing or some other martial art like that, right? I've never seen a situation where it has not worked out. Damn. Ah, man, the lag's back. I don't know what's going on. It doesn't say packet loss on my end. I don't know. Maybe it's like the host or something like that. I probably just ran by somebody. Dude. Should I just start murking my own team? Should I just get kicked for murking my own team? One in the chat if you want me to start just killing, just pull a Benedict Arnold and start killing everybody on my team. Alright, one in the chat if you want me to do that. Since we're playing hardcore, I think Friendly Fire's on. Anyway, the most honest I can remember an adult being to a kid is when I was in the 4th grade. Some basketball player came to speak to the school about aspirations and telling us most of us don't have what it takes to be in his position. Yeah, yeah, I mean, and good for that basketball player. I don't do you know what guy it was? Yeah, I mean, I try to make sure that I'm as honest with the kids as I possibly can be as well, you know? And that's about a bunch of different things. Oh, we're playing this game mode again. Alright, whatever. I've been treating it like team deathmatch this whole time, honestly. Because I don't know why, but... Alright, I don't see any twos. I don't see anyone telling me not to. So, alright. Gonna go ahead and call in a mortar strike on my own boys right here. But yeah... Damn, I got a bunch of people. Shit. Okay. Damn. I can't find my own guys. Friendly fire will not be tolerated. Yeah, well... Oh, it reflects damage now. Oh, bro, damn. Damn, that sucks. Dude, it's saying friendly fire won't be tolerated, but it's a mortar strike. I can't control that. Like, what are you talking about? Damn, it really is reflecting damage. That's an interesting way to stop griefers, but the thing is, we will find a way. We will find a way. Anyway, a lot of young men don't have any masculine positive influence. If their dad is shitty, coaches can be a great role model, could make lots of difference without realizing it. Oh, yeah, and that kid that I was talking about who we kicked out, he didn't have a masculine role model. You know, his dad was not in the picture. You know, I actually know a little bit about it, but I won't say too much about it. You know, his specific case, even though it's not like I'm sitting here like it's John Doe from... Like, you know, but I don't think I need to be the one sitting here talking about that shit. Anyway, damn, bro. Anyway, but yeah, that kid didn't have any masculine role models, right? And his mom was, she was a nice lady, but she was definitely a little bit loony, if I'm just being 100% honest with you. Like, she was not okay in the head. And because of that, I think he just was like, hey, I'm just gonna do what I want, because for one thing, what's mom gonna do, right? For another thing, like, you know, I haven't been, oh, what the hell is this? I haven't had the shit kicked out of me yet. I haven't been arrested yet, so I guess I'll just keep on doing this shit, right? Yeah. Oh, damn. Right? I think that's genuinely what it is, you know? And, yeah, like, when it comes down to it, I try to be a masculine role model, even for everybody, you know? Like, if it's somebody who, doesn't have a dad, I try to make sure that, you know, I am a strong role model for them, right? And that's kind of where the patience thing comes in. That's why it's important that even if I do get frustrated, I don't show that I'm frustrated, right? Because I need to show patience, because a lot of people have a negative interpretation of what masculinity is. A lot of people don't understand what masculinity really is. Part of masculinity is having a control over yourself, right? It's being the immovable object, right? It's being the rock, right? When everybody else is losing their head, you're not. Even if you don't have a clear path forward, you're trying to find one, right? That's part of masculinity. Part of masculinity is being able to sit there and be like, all right, like, this is not a fun situation to be in. I don't like this person, right? They're kind of being a dickhead, but I'm not going to absolutely positively lose my head and start freaking the fuck out, you know? Which actually, like, if you look at rap and shit like that, and like other things where you see, I just fucking spat. If you look at rap, right, a lot of rap is actually very feminine because they preach a total lack of control, right? If you talk shit about me, I'm gonna lose control and I'm gonna shoot you in the head or some shit like that, you know? I'm gonna take what's not mine. I'm gonna rob. I'm gonna steal. I'm gonna cheat my way to the top. That's not masculine, and I'm not saying it's necessarily feminine either. But that's not what masculinity is. We'll just leave it at that, right? Not to say that that's what femininity is. Just saying that's not what masculinity is. Dummy. But because of that, like, I know that I have to remain in control of myself. I can't get frustrated and be like, oh, dude, what the hell, dude, you know? It doesn't mean that I don't get stern with them, right? Like, if somebody's talking, I'll sit here and I'll be like, why is everybody talking right now? I'm talking. That means nobody else is talking, right? That's about the tone that I try and use. But, I was saying that's about the tone that I try to use. But, I typically am saying it a little bit louder because I'm speaking to a group of kids in an open space, right? I'm not speaking to a microphone that's a few feet away from my face. But I'm not sitting here like, you didn't get the move? Dude, what the hell, right? It's literally part of being a masculine role model, you know? And if somebody does have a dad, right? Especially a dad that's like a good dad, which I'm not saying I have any kids with bad fathers or anything like that, right? But, if their dad is a masculine role model, look at me bringing up the rear. Look at me, bro. 28 kills, 50 deaths. Wow. Anyway, excuse me. What was I gonna say? Yeah, even if they have, right, positive role models, right, like positive masculine role models. Maybe they have a father or like a grandfather or an uncle or somebody, right, that's in their life, an older brother that is a good, positive, masculine role model. It doesn't hurt to have 2 or 3 or 4 or 10 or a million of them, right? An infinite amount of them. It does not hurt to have multiple of them. In fact, it's extremely good to have multiple of them. You want to have as many of them as you possibly can have. So I try to make sure that I am, you know? In addition to that, I try to make sure that I'm hard on them. Not cruel, but hard, right? I'm the one who... I'm like, when it comes to coaching, I'm the one who has all the conditioning and shit, right? I'm the one who, I don't really play games, meaning like I don't do the whole like, oh, we're gonna play crab soccer type thing. I don't do that much. And I work them very hard when it comes to the conditioning, and that's because I know that if I push them hard, right, when somebody else who isn't gonna push them as hard as I do is the one in control, right? Waiting on this guy. Then it's going to be a lot easier for them. It's going to be a lot easier for them when, it's somebody else doing it, you know? I have to get them accustomed... Uh-oh. Ooh, right in the knee. I have to get them accustomed... Damn, quad kill. 5 time. Anyway, I have to get them accustomed to hard work, right? And not just hard work, but like grueling work, right? Because if you go through grueling work, if you go through grueling experiences and shit like that, it makes a lot of things a lot easier, right? Like, that is one thing that comes from fighting, right? Is I look at certain things and I just think, well, at least I ain't getting hit in the fucking head. You know? At least I ain't doing wind sprints for 25 minutes at a time, right? At least I ain't sparring with some Bellator guy who, like, he has a fight coming up, so he's like, dude, I gotta beat the shit out of this fucking ginger kid, bro. I gotta beat the shit out of this ginger kid. I'm like 6 inches taller than him. You know, because that's how it is a lot of the time. There's a lot of sharks in the MMA world where, like, they purposefully try to spar with guys that are smaller than them and shit like that. And dudes that don't have as much experience as them and shit like that because it's a confidence boost. The hell is this idiot trying to do? Fuck, idiot. Damn, bro. That sucks. You know, like, that's what happens a lot of the time when I'm in fucked up situations. I'm just like, yo, at least I ain't getting the shit kicked out of me. You know? My role model has always been King Leonidas. I mean, shit, I guess it's a good role model to have. Yeah. I had 50 deaths last round, and now I'm absolutely murking everybody. And it's because I'm relying on the shoddy. Literally just point and shoot. You know, and I feel like I should get the other one because that reload time is too small. Anyway, a lot of young men yet. No. Masculinity is going to my son's Disney princess party and hold back tears with 40 of Mickey's. I don't know about that, but okay. I ain't gonna knock it. What? Oh, shit. Damn, bro, that sucks. Whatever. Shit, dude. Damn it. Alright, we got it. Oh yes. I got him. Yeah, now, what I gotta do is I gotta test. I gotta test how long it'll let me kill my own guys for before before it ends up reflecting back on me. Alright, so that potentially, yeah, that was another one. So that's 2. Damn, bro. That's 3. So it'll let you kill 3 of your own guys before it reflects damage to you. Okay, that's good to know for future griefing endeavors. Speaking of which, I have a new griefing video coming out on September 1st. It's going to be on my Patreon, but for a limited amount of time, it is also going to be on the channel. All right, I'm going to release it for 2 to 3 hours. I'm going to let people know in advance when it's going to be released. Then I'll release it and I'll let people know. But then 2 or 3 hours later, oh, that was my own guy. 2 or 3 hours later, I'm going to private it on my channel, and you are only going to be able to get it on my Patreon. So that's going to be patreon.com/Scott Sullivan. If you want to do that, it's $5 a month. There's other videos on there, including my first ever griefing video, titled Fraud World, The Crying Irishman. All right. I think that is, all right, good. Yeah, so, you know, go ahead, subscribe to that if you want to see it. In addition to that as well, it's not just that I'm going to put it on my main channel for a little bit and then put it on the Patreon. It's also that the one on the channel is going to be censored. It's going to be a censored version. And the one on the Patreon is going to be uncensored, as well as a little bit longer than the one that is on than the one that's on the main channel. Okay, so if you want to see the uncensored version, that's going to be slightly longer. I'm not going to call it an extended version because it's not that much longer, but it's long enough, right? You're going to want to sub to the Patreon. Okay, these videos, these griefing videos that I'm going to be doing, they're going to be every so often. It's not going to be something that I do all the time, right? But, you know, the last one I did was about 6 or so months ago. 6 to 7 months ago. Maybe every 6 months or so. We'll see. Hold on. Sorry. The wife texting me. I feel like this is a low energy stream today. I'm just going to say I apologize for that. You know, I never want to stream and have it not be as good as I can possibly make it. And I feel like I am not as good as I normally... Whoa, uh-oh. I feel like I'm not as good as I normally would be. So that's my bad on that. But we are probably going to end up ending it after this game. I wonder, dude. Wonder how many deaths I have. I got 39 kills. Well, that's another death. K. Rogers has an abundance of lonely fatherly figures. What's K. Rogers? I've never heard of that. Never had a father figure growing up. Most of my life was lost until I found Jesus Christ last year. He's the father to the fatherless. Oh yeah, 100%. You know, and I'm happy to hear that, man. You know, it's crazy the things you can do to turn your life around, right? And getting into Christ is one of them. You know, getting into Christianity is one of them. You know, there's a bunch of different ways you can do it, but at the end of the day, I think that Christ is really the best way. You know, you can work out, you can get good at certain things and stuff like that. You can find a hobby, yeah, sure, that's all good. But you know, if you need a system of morals to live your life by. There we go. Because if you're just sitting there going through life and you're just existing for your hobbies and things like that, like, damn, did I kill myself? Anyway, if you're just existing for your hobbies and things like that, like, sure, okay, like, you have something to do, and you're probably going to be a little bit more likely to stay out of jail because it's harder to do woodworking if you're in prison, right? It's harder to be a gamer, right, if you're in prison and things like that, right? Or like I said in one of my videos, video games are not a hobby, but it's harder to go bowling if you're in prison, right, etc., etc. But at the end of the day, it's all kind of empty to a degree. It's all kind of baseless. And look, I'm not saying that it's like not okay. Like I play video games for Jesus. I play my video games for Jesus. I listen to music for Jesus. Like, not everything has to be that, obviously, and I don't think even biblically it is that way, right? I think the whole youth counselor, youth pastor who like is in a Christian rock band where they do you know, they do fucking they're like screaming about Jesus, right? Like that's a post on Catatonic Youths recently, right? You have like literal metalcore and like black metal bands that are Christian where it's like they're screaming about Jesus. Like I don't dig that. I don't think that's cool, right? But it's good to have something that is metaphysical, right? It's good to have something that goes beyond. Ooh, okay. It's good to have something that goes beyond just, oh yes, I enjoy playing the guitar. It's good to have something that goes beyond, yes, I'm an, fucking bastard. It's good to have something that goes beyond, I do MMA, or you know, I am a woodworker, or I'm a this, or I'm a that, right? You need something that goes beyond the physical, because if you don't have anything that goes beyond the physical, if all you do is live for the physical, then for one thing, you're going to be unfulfilled at the end of the day most of the time, right? You're always going to be like, huh, what if there was more? What if there is more? What if I did decide to try to adhere to a higher standard, a higher set of morals? But also, you will be morally bankrupt to one degree or another, right? And that's not to say that when you find Jesus, you're perfect or anything like that. It means that you're aware of the fact that you are as imperfect as you are. And for one thing, you're trying to avoid taking part in that imperfect behavior. But on top of that, you're also repentant for your imperfect behavior. You are sorry about it, essentially, right? It's not a self-loathing, right? That's where a lot of people kind of go wrong with it. It's just an understanding that, like, yeah, I'm not perfect, you know? Which is funny because a lot of people leave Christianity for that reason. And, like, I won't talk too much about, you know, theology, or I don't even know if this would qualify as theology here. I won't talk too much about it before I go, but I've noticed that a lot of people, when they leave the religion, they sit there and they're like, I'm not some kind of robot, dude. I'm not like perfect. Like I'm a person. I'm imperfect. I just want to be imperfect. Right? And the thing is, like, Christianity was never about being perfect. In fact, the core tenet of Christianity, underneath it all, is that we as humans are imperfect. We are ignorant. We are incapable of being as good as God. We don't even come close, right? That's what everything is based on. That is why we ended up getting kicked out of Eden, because we were ignorant, right? Because we were ignorant, we were prideful, right? And we listened to the wrong person, or the wrong snake, I guess, right? And we decided to make a decision that we were explicitly told not to. It was literally the one rule we were told not to break, and we broke it, right? And because of that, we got cast out of heaven. And now, in order to get back into heaven, we have to accept Christ in our heart, and also accept that, God is, God is above us, right? We cannot be God. We are imperfect. We are sinful, right? We are going to make mistakes. We're going to do things wrong and things like that. If it makes sense what I'm saying. I'm not some kind of biblical scholar or anything like that. This is just what I've come to understand after years of thinking about it on my own, combined with hearing people who know more than me speak, and looking into things on my own and stuff like that. When I hear somebody sit there and they go like, "Oh, yeah, I don't like Christianity because it's judgmental, and I'm not perfect, and I don't want to be perfect," and it's like, all right, well, I don't see what your problem with Christianity is then, because, like, I'm not perfect either, and that's literally one of the most Christian things that I could say, is that I'm not perfect, right? But typically what it is that these people want to feel perfect by being imperfect. They kind of want that whole oxymoron, or that whole contradictory way of being, right? It's that whole "your scars make you beautiful" thing. Your past mistakes are what make you good, right? Things like that. That's really what it is with a lot of atheists and a lot of people who just, like, they kind of step away from Christianity specifically, because what a lot of people do when they're too afraid to kind of make the leap from Christianity to atheism is they kind of go in between, and they pick up like Buddhism, which they don't understand because they don't live in fucking Vietnam or India or China or Japan, right? So they're sitting here and they're like listening to like 20-minute fucking videos on Buddhism, and they're like, "That's it, I'm a Buddhist now," right? And they're doing it all wrong and shit like that. Like they end up doing something like that, or maybe they get into like Zoroastrianism or some other, like, some other quirky religion. Ooh, it's quirky and exotic because brown and other people, because brown people fucking practice it. That means it's exotic and it's cool. You know? It's just crazy to see. Sorry. Like I said, I don't want to talk about it too much, but I do have a little bit more to say. Like, it's crazy to see people who, like, they leave Christianity because they're like, "Oh, I don't like how judgmental it is," and then, like, they're too afraid to become an atheist, so they just become a Buddhist or like a Hindu or something like that. And what they really do is they just take like the parts from Christianity that they do like, and they throw away the stuff that they don't like, and they just start calling themselves like a Buddhist or a Hindu or something like that. Maybe they replace God with like Vishnu or some shit like that, or whatever, right? But like they're doing it all wrong, and a real Hindu would be like, "You're a fucking idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. Shut up. Stop that." You know, um, it's wild. Really, anything other than Christianity, right? In my opinion, I'll just be 100% honest with you, right? Anything other than Christianity, I'm not a big fan of, and it's not that I have like a problem with Judaism or a problem with Islam or a problem with anybody who studies those religions. It's just that the way I see it, Christianity really is the only religion that is like objectively correct. And the reason why I think this is because a lot of the things from Islam you notice are just kind of methods of trying to, I guess, take over the world, right? Like there's a lot of things in Islam that it's really just like, it's not that God said it, it's that Muhammad was like, "I don't like that." So they were like, "Oh, all right, we don't like that now." Like, to my understanding, I was told this by a friend of mine who is Moroccan, and he was raised as a Muslim. He became an atheist, and then he became Orthodox. And my Catholic buddy and I are like, damn, we almost had him, but not quite. He's a Christian, he's not the right kind. No, but jokes aside, like, he told me some things about the Quran, and one of them was that, like, with alcohol, right? There was a guy who brewed some, like, alcoholic beverage out of, like, a pumpkin or something like that, some kind of gourd, and Muhammad tried it, right? And he tried it, and he did a spit take. He's like, this is awful, dude. What the hell is that? Don't ever make that shit again. That sucks, dude. Right? That was the explanation I heard from a friend of mine who was raised as a Muslim. That's why Muslims don't do alcohol, right? Specifically, right? There's just, like, if you look at a bunch of these religions, you just notice that there's weird little quirks in them that are very worldly, right? Muhammad seems to almost be more important than Allah in Islam. With Judaism, like, I think that Christ came and he's trying to save everybody, right? And you have to accept Christ into your heart to end up getting saved. And it's nothing against the Jews or anything like that, right? They think they're doing what is right, just like I think I'm doing what is right. I don't disrespect them in any way, shape, or form for that. Like Buddhism or Hinduism or anything like that, I think it's very weird that in order to achieve enlightenment or to achieve Dharma or whatever you would call it, you basically have to be in this weird state where, like, you go and you live in the mountains and you shave your head and you don't see a woman for, like, 40 fucking years, until the day you die and shit like that. I think it's very interesting, and I don't think that is something that is it's a little bit too worldly, right? The way that you end up achieving heaven in Christianity, you don't have to change anything other than trying to avoid a certain set of behaviors and accepting Christ into your heart. I don't have to shave my head. I don't have to run off into the mountains or anything like that. It's just like I'm sitting here and really I'm trying to, as quickly as I can, explain my thoughts on religion and things like that, and my thoughts on Christianity and things like that. And the thing is, you can't really explain it quickly because, for one thing, you end up saying a lot of things that could be taken the wrong way, right? But in addition to that, you say you're going to do it quick, but really you end up not doing it quick, and you get a lot deeper into it than you originally intended, which is kind of where I'm at now. I didn't want to sit here and be like, I don't like Islam, I don't think Judaism is the way, I think those Hare Krishnas are, like, weirdos, like, I didn't want to be here, right? But it just kind of ended up being there, right? I'd have to make a video on it, and that would probably be a patron-only video. Not to shill my Patreon again. It's just I don't think that's something that I would want to put out on the main channel, because I'm really not trying to. Not that I'm being divisive. It would be other people that are being divisive, because I'm just saying things. I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm not trying to be offensive to anybody. So if somebody takes it in an offensive manner, that's their fault. That's their problem, right? They're the one being divisive, not me. But, like, I don't want to put something out there that some dickhead is going to be divisive about and then project that onto me and be like, well, I think you're being Islamophobic because you don't think that Islam is the right way. And it's like, yeah, I don't think it's the right way because I am a Christian. We are very specific about what the right and wrong ways are. If you're not doing things the right way, you're doing them the wrong way. And as a Christian, who, again, Christianity is very clear about what the right and wrong way is, right? I'm going to look at things that are not Christian, and I'm going to say, okay, look, that guy, he really takes it serious. That's fine. I get that. I'm not even going to try and change him unless he asks me to do or say something that could potentially change his belief. But he's wrong. It's that simple, right? But anyway, I'll read a couple more of these and then I'll go ahead and do my thing. John senses tingling. John is with us. Is he with us? Is he really with us right now? I don't know if he actually is or not. Christ is King, for real, for real. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I almost said some Zoomer speak as a joke, but I was like, nah, I won't do that. Yeah, pride in the fall / scars. Yeah. A lot of people are proud that they're getting kicked out of heaven, right? It's like, imagine if Adam and Eve, like Adam and Eve, they kind of understood like right away the gravity of their situation, and because they were human, because they were so imperfect, they tried to see if they could skirt, right? Having to face God, and have shame in the face of God, right? That's something that a lot of people don't have anymore, is shame in the face of God, right? People need to find that, because even as somebody who, I haven't necessarily done anything that bad, right? I have done some bad things in my life and some like really bad things in my life. It's not like I've killed people. I don't steal, right? I try to be as good as I can, bottom line. Like, there's no way in hell I'm gonna stand in front of the Lord on Judgment Day and be like, I think I'm a good guy. I think I'm an alright guy. I think I tried my best. I think that's what I did. I think I deserve to be in there, so you should let me in there. Hell no, that ain't gonna be me on Judgment Day. You kidding me? You gotta be fucking joking if you think I'm gonna be that stupid. I'm gonna have shame in the face of God. I'm gonna have humility. I'm gonna recognize that I'm a peon, that I don't even matter. Because at the end of the day, it's true, right? But regardless, we're getting too deep into it. Maybe we'll have a stream one day where we talk about this too. Maybe we'll have a stream where we talk about like some of the things that people say about Christianity, right? And some of the ways that I personally think some people do kind of get it wrong a little bit, right? But that is what it is. Anyway, Jay Dyer Hours Bible study stream when. I actually have Jay Dyer on Twitter now. I followed him when he mentioned that he was going to end up coming up to the Northeast to train with Sam. I don't know if that's still happening or not. I just kind of let Sam hit me up whenever and say, "Hey, come down. We're training this guy." Right? I don't bother Sam being like, "So did anyone hit you up?" But I don't know if it's still going to end up happening. If it does, great. That'd be great. Excuse me. But I don't know. Maybe I could inbox him and see if he'd be down to talk religion on stream one day or something like that. I wouldn't mind that. That'd be pretty cool. Could get Alex Stein on here as well. I know Alex is Jewish, but he's I think he's secular though. Get Alex on here and get John on here. So we'll have two ortho bros, a Catholic, and a secular Jew, and we'll all just argue. We'll all just talk mad shit. Nah, we probably wouldn't even do that. I just feel like it'd be funny to have, because someone said have John on. That'd be good. I feel like Alex Stein would be good to have on a stream like that too. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get out of here now. Thank you everybody who showed up. I really appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you for the donation as well, Sheer. I really appreciate that. I'm gonna go ahead. There we go. I wouldn't say there's like a video out this week. There was supposed to be, but it ended up getting screwed up. So I'm gonna end up pushing it to next week. So we'll go ahead and we'll do that. Other than that, just stay tuned, and yeah, that'll be that. Thank you, everybody. Peace. Oh, wait, I forgot something. My bad.